So what we've done now is we've upgraded this here to be a form which will have client-side validation. So if we try and click sign in, it'll say this field is required, and then of course the password as well. So if I just go here and type in nikos@entercv.com, try and click sign in, then also this will validate, and that's great. I don't have to write that. So the code that does that, what we've done is we've wrapped this in a form, and then also we bind to the onSubmit event, which will be fired when we click on the button. And I've also done we added some state to async state memory here. So what I've done is I've created this thing called pending API call, and this makes it easy to copy paste this component to other singular form things. And then we also respond to a promise. So this sign in event comes from our wrapper around the goto API, and this will actually now return a promise as well. So then we can do stuff inside of the store related to the store, and then stuff related to the UI here in this component. And this pending thing will show a spinner, and that's a spinner, a new library that we've used called Svelte Spinner. So if we go into here, we've got this thing called Svelte Spinner, and we have this some styling, and we want to reuse this, so we just import this default spinner to avoid having to write this each time we want to use it. So anyway, if we sign in now, we can see that we're going to have a little spinner, and then if it's a correct user and password, it logs in, and we're actually logged in right now. So now also in the security settings, we can also update your email and password. But what I'm trying to do here is that the Netlify API will actually, if you change the email on the update method, it will keep the old email the same, and there'll be a new field called new email, but you still log into the old email when you try to do stuff. So I'm talking to Netlify, asking them on GitHub how that works. So anyway, you go in here and you can do like, just type whatever, using Nikos2 blah blah, and then obviously we've got their validation in here as well. So that will click to update this password, and it will go to the server and then just say that you've been updated. But anyway, this code here is kind of nicer to use, and also so for example, we'll go into the settings. So we've also got some new stuff here. So we've got show success message, and also pending API call one. So if you can imagine if there's multiple forms, so if there's like security settings and personal settings, customer settings, then you could imagine not having to go in and copy paste this. If you had another class with two forms, you just by using these generic names, then you can sort of, this is form one, then you'd have another form two down here. When you're replacing the code, you don't have to change too many things. And that's what I quite like about this code. And so anyway, here again, we also have the submit method, and it saves us having to we'll just go straight to on submit here with this event. And of course we're binding to the email and password, and we have access to these values here like that. Now I'll just show you how these things work. So if we go to update security settings, what we do is we can wrap, this is the menu, this is the user store here. We have access to the user, and we set it to this writable story which we export, and then I've wrapped the Netlify gotrue API in these methods. What we'll do in future videos is that we'll then have the same API for doing things, but we can then use other things like Firebase to change our backend, and I'll show you how to do that probably in the next video. So anyway, these functions here return a promise, and we do the action on the API, and then we do something related to the store here. We don't touch the store in the component. I just wanted to keep that logic here, and then we resolve and reject stuff, and that then there's logic related to the component, which is then handled in the then here. So basically we're changing the state of the component and doing other stuff. The registration component is a little bit different in that once we get we register, then we basically get told to go and check your email here. The sign in component, that's a bit different as well. So when we sign in, there's no state for like when it's successful. What happens is that the store takes care of that. So we've basically got this pending spinner when we're signing in, and then of course in the actual here, we just catch an error outside, or we just actually redirect once we successfully log in here like that. So we're returning a promise, and yeah, we're just catching errors here like that, so that we don't have the spinner when it returns back. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about here. So you can see how we've made it more kind of user friendly, added compliance and validation, saved some load in the server. And next video we'll probably look at how we can make this app work with other backends, and we'll just extract out the logic. Okay, see you guys soon. Bye bye.